were the wild, untamed, messy women of the 90s Goth Grunge fashion movement. I'm going to tell you my top 3. Maybe this style's new to you, and maybe it's not, and maybe it brings back some memories. They weren't just style icons. They embodied like chaos and rebellion and that sort of like I don't give a fuck attitude. A kind of kinderwhore energy. So if you ever wanted to look like you crawled out of a witchy forest or a grungy dive bar, you're going to want to stick around. After making a video about kinderwhore fashion, I couldn't stop thinking about my own icons from the 90s. They all had that sort of untamed look, like little sprites that fell in a puddle with smeared makeup and messy hair. I mean, there literally is one girl in this lineup who smeared dirt on herself while performing. Very Trent Reznor. So today I'm going to share with you my top 3 icons of a sort of goth grunge look, which was something that I was very much into in the 90s. The 90s were a wild time for goth fashion. A lot of people stuck with the very traditional, like girls had the straight long black hair with the bangs, and you wear the corsets and the long skirts, and very vampire-esque. But then kind of along the line of like sort of sprouting out of grunge and riot girl, there was a messy sort of chaotic look. Blonde hair, slip dresses, wearing white instead of black to a goth club, smudged makeup instead of fine lined eyeliner. It was really like riot girl energy bleeding into goth culture. And for me, I gravitated towards that look because that was my personality. I was messy, I was chaotic, I was untamed, and I wanted to look exactly like that. So today I'm going to share with you my top 3 icons that really embody that look and made me just want to look like that really bad when I was young. That whole goth, grunge, kinderwhore energy. So kinderwhore kind of came about, a lot of people talk about Hole and bands like that as kind of representing that mainstream culture fashion that came out. Think of baby doll dresses, slips, Mary Janes, ripped tights. In the goth scene, you would kind of blend this into your witchy looks, maybe fairy goth, something like that, a little more whimsical and dirty. So when I talk about bands that kind of influenced that, like Hole and Babes in Toyland, I couldn't stop thinking about my true fashion heroes of the 90s. They all had that untamed sprite look, slip dresses, smeared makeup. So again, let's start with number 3, Rasputina's Melora. The founder and lead singer of the band Rasputina, which is a cello-driven sort of rock goth band. I think some people refer to them kind of as chamber rock. Their music almost has a folk feel, and the cellos just ring out in such a beautiful way. And she is iconic for her slip dresses, her corsets, her dreaded blonde hair, her messy look. But she also looks like some sort of sprite or witch that just came out of the forest with some magical glitter story to tell you. I don't know. Amazing look. And then you get to see videos of them, if you look them up, like performing in a forest or just really feeding into this energy of sort of witchcore, I guess. And she definitely is a big influence on my style. I was lucky enough to see Rasputina play live as well. And if you haven't, let me just tell you, her voice is amazing. Oh, one of the most amazing shows I've ever seen live. So yes, check them out. Rasputina Moria, fashion icon of the 90s. Number 2, KatieJane Garside from Daisy Chainsaw and Queen Adreena. This woman had it all. She was waif-like. She had this childlike, chaotic energy. She crazy on stage, cover herself in dirt like Trent Reznor, except a chick, so even cooler. She's unpredictable. She would shriek. She's crazy. I've never seen them live, but I would have loved to see Queen Adreena live. What a great band. The thing about her is she's both repulsive and magnetic. She's kind of like, is she pretty or is she ugly? I've never seen her live, but she inspires me endlessly to this day. And then of course, my number 1. Now, I don't know if we would consider her as grungy as the other 2. I don't even know if I would consider Melora all that grungy, but Tina Root, Switchblade Symphony, you know I'm going to say it. I have other videos about her. Style icon for me, the vocalist for the band Switchblade Symphony from San Francisco, which I was lucky enough to actually discover from seeing them live first. So it was a moment when she walked on stage, dreaded blonde hair, a little 60s long vintage dress on. It was like white with flowers, big, huge flowers in her hair, just crazy at a goth club. I was just like, what is happening right now? Who is this woman? Changed my whole trajectory of what I wanted to look like. Sure, I was trying to be like the black-haired goth. You know, I wanted to be mysterious and weird, but let's face it, these blonde, beaming women just totally attracted me. I wanted to be them. I wanted to know them. I wanted to get dread so bad back in the day, but I just never ever did. And sometimes I still wonder if there will ever be a moment when I will dread my hair. The thing about these women is they kind of are a contrast to the traditional goth, which was something that, you know, especially when you're young, you always want to kind of like break away from what you put your own spin, I guess, on the normalities of whatever fashion you're interested in. So I guess that was kind of my take on making it my own. So these women didn't just perform, they like embodied chaos and messy witchiness, danger. They allowed me to feel that my femininity could be gross in a way. And they definitely gave me permission to be messy and strange and unhinged, which I probably didn't need. So like in a decade full of corsets and long skirts and black bangs, they reminded me that goth could be dirty, blonde, and feral. So there we have it, my top 3 goth grunge icons. My blonde sprite heroes, Melora, KatieJane, and Tina. So who were your music 90s style icons? Do you know anybody else of the same kind of genre that really turned you on? Drop them in the comments. I want to know your picks. I want to know who I forget. And if you want more goth deep dives, subscribe to my channel. And if you want to support independent goth creators, check out bonesandblack.com, where we design art and fashion for you. Thank you so much for watching again, and I'll see you on the dance floor.